Hi, how's it going? Wanted to chat about a couple of things that have been on my mind lately and just share some things that have been going on this week that I thought were really interesting, especially in light of what I was chatting about a couple of days ago. If you didn't catch it, a couple of days ago, I did a video talking about avoiding burnout. So if you haven't watched that, it was posted a couple of days ago on my page. Feel free to go back and watch it. It gave some information on, just how common burnout is and how important it is that we catch it before it gets too, it affects our lives too much, and how we can turn things around. So I just wanted to wait a few minutes before I start. Hi to who's watching. Just wanted to wait a few minutes and see if any more people are going to be able to jump on and join while I'm chatting today. But, I've just been, of course, like I said, thinking about a lot of things, just feeling really, really grateful for this life and just feeling so much gratitude for just everything that's happened over the last couple of years. And, just also being really, really present to, what so many people are going through and just how hard it can be to be a human being. Just that struggle that we go through as humans, whether it's in relatively small ways, just with what we deal with, interacting with those that we're in relationship with, through intimacy and through vulnerability, and then also what humans go through in big ways when there's trauma and catastrophe and injustice and so many other things that can happen to human beings, and just how much we go through and what a struggle it is. And one of the things that I've noticed and I've seen, in the work that I do, and something that I'm just really present to, even for myself, because I did it for years, is that we make it harder. Sometimes we resist what's going on. We make it harder. We struggle against it. We avoid the reality of what's going on for so long, instead of just surrendering into what's happening and allowing ourselves to feel. Sometimes when things are really extremely happening in the moment, when we're dealing with the shock of what's going on, that's not necessarily the time to do that. Shock serves its purpose and it helps us survive, and hopefully in those extreme moments. But when we get to a point where we're dealing with the aftermath of things, or we're going through a long-term struggle, we can tend to sometimes avoid really feeling what we're feeling and avoid experiencing what's going on. And like I said, I've been thinking about this a lot more, interestingly, and this is more just on a smaller scale, because of course, I was talking just now about the range of what we can go through as humans. But a couple of days ago, as I said, I did a video on avoiding burnout, and one of the things that I suggested was to say no more often, to say no more to people in our lives, especially, when we need to really conserve our energy and we need to really conserve our strength. But what happens when we're on the receiving end of a no? Because if more and more of us are saying no, if more and more of us are setting boundaries and, really staying in our truth and saying no to things when we need to, there's going to come a time when we're on the receiving end of that no. And interestingly enough, as I was talking about this and suggesting this as a practice earlier this week, I ended up being on the receiving end of a no. And it was just something that was really interesting. It brought up some things that I decided I wanted to share about, because, we got to deal with what comes up for us when we are on that receiving end. It can be triggering, it can bring up stuff. And, like I said, the person that's saying no, good for them. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they are setting the boundaries and that they're taking care of themselves. So what it brings up in me, that's my stuff. That's my stuff that I've got to deal with. And that's stuff that, I really just need to sit with, which is what I did today. Sit with and just, and really try to understand it, not resist it. Allow the feelings that come up to come up. Feel them. Feel whatever it brings up, whether it's pain, whether it's sadness, whether it's anger. Really get close to that and understand what's happening, because the more that you do that, the more you get a deeper understanding of yourself. And what was so interesting when I really started to kind of sit with what happened when I was faced with a no is it made me think a lot about just human relationship and human intimacy in general. And there's this really beautiful analogy that I learned about a couple of years ago that I wanted to share. I may post the video below. It's actually a video by writer Elizabeth Gilbert. She's quite well known. You may have heard of her. And she's talking about a philosopher named Schopenhauer, talking about or basically comparing us as humans to porcupines that are out on a cold night, and we're just kind of looking for warmth, right? So we cuddle up, we get close to our other fellow porcupines, and then they've got these sharp spines, right? So if we get too close, we can get hurt. And so this is just one of those paradoxes about being human, and one of the reasons that it can be hard to be human, because we have this need for and this desire to be close and to be connected with one another, yet at the same time we can easily trigger one another and we can easily be hurt. It's easy to get hurt if we get too close. So one of the things, I guess, that was proposed in this story, in this analogy about us as porcupines, is that those that are able to find the most happiness in life are those that are able to source their own sense of warmth. They don't need that warmth from others. They can be close as possible and enjoy relationships with others, but really what it comes down to is sourcing our own warmth, not needing it from anyone else, so that when someone does say no to us, we're able to just receive that and not make it mean anything other than no. Like I said, I'm encouraging you to set your own boundaries and say no more. And so this is more the flip side of it. What happens when someone says no to you? Okay, so following along that analogy of the porcupines and just really getting to that point where we can source our own warmth. And what does that really mean? That means feeling good within our own selves, feeling filled up, feeling love, without needing that from anyone else. And that's something that we as humans can struggle in with relationships over and over and over again. Especially this is something I went through for years, going from one relationship to another. And I didn't catch that important point, is that I was looking for that sense of warmth and that sense of connection, of being filled from another person. But the truth of the matter is, it never is going to come from another person. It comes from source, it comes from your faith, it comes from your spirituality and your connectedness. Hi, Ingrid. And it's something that's so important to develop as a human being. And once you get that, it makes life that much easier and that much happier. And this is something that I teach in my program that I wanted to share about. And if you do want to find out more, you can read through the text on this post. This program is something that I'm opening up again in 2019, coming up in January. It's called the Comeback Queen, and it's a coaching program that I do one-on-one with women that have gone through a major life transition, a major change, something life-altering, whether it's a divorce, a layoff, an accident, anything that has affected them really deeply. And they've gone through the early stages of healing, but they're really at that point now where they're ready to rebuild their lives. So if this is you, if this is something that you're interested in finding out more about, as I said, there's more information on what is involved in this program. I am a naturopath, and I am also a lifestyle design coach. I'm also an intuitive, and I use the messages that I get from the work that we do to help guide my clients on their path to rebuilding and reinventing themselves, and doing it from a place of strength and heart and love, and really from a place where they feel so filled up and so empowered and so excited about their lives that that just continues, and they just start to magnetize more and more incredible experiences into their life. So as I mentioned, if you're interested in that, you can read more about the details in this post. Hi, Ane, how are you? And basically, we can read more about this in the post. And if you're interested in booking in to find out more, you can send me a private message. I just have a few spots left for the end of the year. I'm actually going to be wrapping things up coming up in a couple of weeks, and then I'll be going on vacation. And so if you are interested in finding out more, then please send me a private message and you can find out more that way. I would love to chat with you. I would love to hear more about what's going on with you and really help to work together with you on, you know, what it is that you're going through and help you with just discovering more and more about what's possible. So anyways, lots of love to you, no matter what it is that you're going through, sending you lots and lots of love and warmth and support. And I hope to hear from you if you have any questions or if you're interested in chatting more about what's possible for 2019. Talk to you soon. Bye.